morning, you guys. Welcome to a special episode of Conscious Straight Talk with Katie and Lindsey. As you've noticed, it's Thursday. So we are coming on you live today because yesterday, Wyatt graduated.
Yes.
We had a graduation in the house. And tomorrow, my son is graduating.
Yay.
So we thought we would do just a day, a little come talk to you on Thursday instead. So, because we miss you guys. We didn't want to miss the whole week.
We do. Yes. And I'm going on vacation.
And you're going on vacation too.
Yes.
So you are?
My name is Katie Hutchinson, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and a certified mediator. And happy Thursday.
And I'm Lindsey Kearns. I'm the mama behind MalibuMamaLoves.com. And I'm also a certified conscious trauma-informed life coach. We've been talking about sex addiction, and today I kind of want to dive into what happens when you're in love with a sex addict. Because with 50 million sex addicts out there, it happens.
80 million.
It happens.
80 million? I can't remember.
So a person with a sex addiction can feel love, but they can only be truly in love once they've healed themselves.
Yep.
Now, it can be very hard to determine, and we talked about this on Monday, whether you just have a really high sex drive or you have a problem with compulsive sexual behavior, because there's really no one size fits all for sexual addiction.
Sex addiction, like we talked about on Monday, can take on many different forms. Honestly, it has to do with the way somebody relates to sex, why they engage in sex, and how it impacts their lives negatively. That is huge. And that's the huge difference between somebody that loves sex and a sex addict, is that it starts to impact their life in a very negative way.
Yep, for sure. That's the difference. Sex may be consuming their lives and their thoughts, and their relationships. It's all they can think about. It's all they can do. And it's like the compulsive, I've got to get it. I've got to get it. I need to have it. And often these behaviors, sadly, are used to numb and to escape instead of to heighten and to enjoy. And that's what most people don't understand. These sex addicts are really hurting.
Right. Typically, I see sex addicts using this to cover up some sort of past pain / trauma or abuse. It's the same as a drug addict or I just said that drug addict, heroin addict, shopping, gambling, alcoholic.
Needing that fix.
It's needing the fix to numb your pain, your emotional pain.
And when you're living with someone or in love with someone or dating someone who is a sex addict, it can be really overwhelming. Just in the beginning, you may not be able to keep up with the frequency of their sexual requests. And the lack of intimacy that's part of this sex is also very confusing to you.
Right.
So this leads to feelings of, hey, I can't please my partner. I'm not good enough. There's something wrong with me, which then segues into deep anxiety and depression, low self-esteem, guilt, embarrassment, shame.
A lot of shame.
And lots of fear of getting an STD.
Right.
It's really hard for the other person. I mean, you have to be strongly in love to stay in a relationship like that.
Well, you have to be accepting of this person. Many people think that, oh, okay, I'm with a sex addict, but I'll marry them or I'll live with them and they're going to change. And that's not the case. You need help. So there often are little to no boundaries in this relationship because, it's challenging to have boundaries if they need to possibly have multiple partners, etc. The desperation that a sex addict feels to use their drug of choice, which is sex, is no different than what I said before. A drug addict, an alcoholic.
Is high.
Yes, exactly.
A gambler winning on a ticket or something.
Exactly. A shopper. I like to shop. A shopper creating so many problems that they can't pay off their shopping addiction.
Well, the thing is, the urges are so strong and hard to get past, Because most addicts, they crave and they want deep emotional connection with their partners. But they're incredibly fearful of that too, of that deep type of intimacy because of their past traumas. It's important for your relationships that you understand there's usually very serious trauma attached to this type of addiction.
Right. Addiction is a chronic disease that reoccurs. You can't just tough love your partner and have them change. They really need to get help. And it's because they feel so much shame and guilt that usually they don't even want to admit it until they're caught. Any of these attempts will fail if they don't get the type of help that they need. And that's because of the nature of the disease and the underlying trauma. Because there's usually sexual abuse, physical abuse that happened in their childhood, unhealed trauma.
ugh, it's awful.
Yes.
And likewise, because this problem is rooted in such deep trauma, simply stopping the behavior isn't going to help at all. It's definitely not a fix.
Right.
You know, it's look at the drug addicts.
Well, you can't
I can
stop.
quit. I can stop.
Yeah.
And then, you know, something else.
Very rarely does it happen.
You must address the root of the problem, right?
Yep.
But uncovering this addiction is such a challenge because these people are so ashamed deeply inside. They go to great lengths to hide. Yeah. So it's really hard to figure out what is going on.
Right. And that is why the communication is so key within a relationship. And the other person has to not insult them, rebuke them, scold them, etc. when the person does come clean.
We need to be understanding.
Yes. Oftentimes they feel inadequate, like we said before. So it feels safer to work things out with sex workers or porn or masturbation. It brings them comfort and lets them hide and gets rid of that emotional pain. It numbs that pain, like cutting.
Yeah.
Like cutting.
And that's why the communication, you guys, it's so key. You both have to be on the same side. You both have to decide we want to work through this. We're going to be open. We're going to be honest. Finding a therapist who specializes in sex addiction. And there's loads of them.
Yeah,
there's loads of them everywhere. This is not
I like
a
working
unique
with sex
problem.
addicts.
You know what I mean?
It's
lot
just
of
like
people
any other
have
addiction. Most importantly, get help, please. Just like she said, find a therapist that specializes in sex addiction, or that's one of their areas of specialty.
Yeah.
Cognitive behavioral therapy is usually the best because you want to deal with the trauma, but you're also dealing with changing your thought processes, which will then hopefully change your behavior. Another option is medication, which we discussed before. Antidepressants lower your libido. In addition, going inpatient for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, I would recommend at least 90 days.
Because it's the same as drug addicts. And what do they say with drug addicts? It
Seven
takes
times. Seven
right?
times usually of going
so
to
you
rehab.
need some kind of program
Yes.
to get through this stuff
Absolutely.
and really heal that
you
trauma.
need that support. You need that support.
For sure. So, all right, with that, you guys, she's going on vacation and I'm going to go get
Yes.
ready for graduation
Yay!
for my son.
Bye.
And we'd love to hear from you guys. We did,
Yes.
I loved, we had one woman comment the other day and say, for sex addiction, we need more understanding. And that's why we're doing this.
Yes.
And we love that you guys keep reaching out. Keep
I know.
talking to
And
us.
you know what? Let us know if you're in a relationship with somebody like this. Or you've experienced this. You know what I mean? Let's share the
Absolutely.
stories.
You're
Let's
not
get rid
alone.
of the guilt.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.